So what do I mean by the table? Stereotypically, the table means, in my mind, this corporate boardroom where there's one singular table and only a few people can get up to that place. You're clawing your way up the ladder. You're pulling yourself up from your bootstraps. And only you can make it, nobody else. I think that's a lie. Because the lie is that we can only find leadership by doing things on our own, when in fact we do it through community. I'm suggesting that the table is not the boardroom table, but rather the dining room table. Let's go there for a second. When you host somebody in your home, what kind of things do you do to prepare to get them into your home? Just shout out, what do you think?
Clean.
You clean, you prepare. And then when they come to the door, you open the door, and what do? Welcome them, give them a hug. You're there opening your world to them. This is where leaders come from. They come from everywhere, from the dining table. I remember the first time I lived in Italy. It was about 10 years ago, and I was invited into a friend's home. I didn't know the language. I thought I knew the culture from watching Godfather over and over with my dad, but that was not the case. Stefano, a friend of mine with the education department, decided to invite a bunch of people over to have dinner with him. Of course, a good Italian, he makes pasta, homemade pasta, and on the side, he's making brisket, all the while having conversations with us. He asked me to go get a bottle of wine. Now, that might seem like a normal request, but this man is in study to be a sommelier. I'm like, well, what do you want me to get? Oh, just get anything. So while I go get the wine, everybody's chatting about what they like to eat, what they like to cook. When I come back, I'm sort of secretly hoping he doesn't see me and doesn't ask me that question, but of course he does. Sera, cosa ti piace cucinare? Well, yeah. So I like eggs in the morning and I cook a lot of vegetables. I also like yogurt and granola. He's like, but that's all breakfast food. What about dinner? What do you like to cook? I'm like, Stefano, I just don't really cook very much. He takes a towel from his shoulder, wipes his hands, smirks, and goes back to cooking. Stefano opened me up to his world. It was a foreign world. I was a stranger. He opened me up to his expertise, and not once did he make me feel as though I was wrong for not knowing how to pick a wine. In fact, he just invited me in. This is how leaders are born. Leaders are born from all different walks of life, not just the boardroom. Zygmunt Bauman, a Polish sociologist, talks about how our modern culture has been filled with this ideology of waste. We go to the supermarket, we don't eat all of our food, we throw half of it away. If somebody's sick, we think of them as less than. If somebody's struggling in life, can they lead? I don't know. We question their ability. But the truth is, that's not how society works. You can't just separate people who are supposedly not functioning and other people that are. There's a balance between this. When I was in Vancouver, BC, in grad school, I started a drop-in shelter for homeless women. This was all because I was so high up in my ideology that I was trying to figure out, how can I do this stuff on the ground? Is this going to actually work? So I started Women's Time. It was a time where women could come and do their laundry. They could wash their hair if they needed to. They could drink tea and just sit on a comfy couch to be away from predatory streets. One year, we decided we're going to do a Christmas party. It was a big bash. We had this long table, and everybody sat around it. It was both guests and the volunteers. We got food from the local market, vegetables from my garden. It was perfect. At some point in the evening, Linda, one of the guests, asked if she can make an announcement. I said, yes, of course. She said, I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I'm third generation on government assistance. My grandmother's been on government assistance, my mom has been on government assistance, and I have been on government assistance my entire life. But there was something about coming here to this Women's Time and knowing that you guys welcomed me in that made me think I could do something more with my life. Turns out, Linda got a job as a security guard without us knowing, and she went off government assistance. This is the power of inviting somebody to your table. You may think that it doesn't matter, but when you invite someone into your world, you open up a new view for them. So I encourage you, invite somebody over to the table, no matter who they are. If you feel comfortable, bring in a homeless person. If you have a friend who's depressed, bring them in and remind them that they're okay.